Okay, sir. Photography is an indispensable art of teleporting the past into the future. It tells us that beauty can be seen in everything, and camera is a license to explore this beauty. A very happy evening. Don't hide your talent within you.
Mom, your voice is breaking.
Aparna?
Respect and gratitude to our chairman. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Now it is audible, but that time there was discontinuity.
Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Start, ma'am. Start.
Okay, shall I start from the beginning, ma'am, or shall I continue, ma'am?
Okay. Start from.
Okay, ma'am. Photography is an indispensable art of teleporting the past into the future. It tells us that beauty can be seen in everything, and camera is a license to explore this beauty. A very happy evening to all. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to one and all present here for the photography contest on nature and landscape. Don't hide your talent within you. Explore it. Don't wait for a stage. Create a stage by yourself. On this pleasant evening, it gives us immense pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Mr. K. Immanuel, sir. Welcome, sir. Our respect and gratitude to our chairman, Dr. B. Babu Manoharan, sir, our managing director, Mrs. B. Jessipriya, ma'am, our director, Mr. B. Sasishekar, sir, our respected principal, Dr. P. Ravichandran, sir, who has always been a great source of inspiration for all of us. It is our pleasure to welcome the HODs of Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Dr. C. Nyanakausalya, ma'am, and Dr. G. Rohini, ma'am, and all our faculty members. Last but not the least, I welcome all the participants. Welcome you all. Here are a few words about our chief guest. Our honorable chief guest, Mr. K. Immanuel, sir, completed his Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Communication Engineering in St. Joseph's College of Engineering, Anna University, Chennai. He pursued his Masters of Engineering in Applied Electronics in College of Engineering, Guindy, Anna University, Chennai. He is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering in St. Joseph's Institute of Technology, OMR, Chennai. He has an experience of 7 years in the field of teaching and has research interest in the areas of image processing, machine learning, deep learning, and Internet of Things. Welcome, sir. Before getting into the session, participants, kindly mute your mic and video. Post your queries in the chat box, which will be answered at the end of the session. I'm very delighted to say that about 57 active participants have showcased great interest in this contest to unveil the talent in them. So shall we start the session, sir?
Yes, Aparna, thank you very much for those kind words of introduction. So a very good evening to all the participants, my colleagues and students who have joined here. So I'm really delighted to see a bunch of talents that are in front of me. And I was really happy and quite amused to see the photos that you had posted. And really, you people are having that enthusiastic zeal towards photography. And that is what will always keep you people going. So please have that going on and be more creative. So before announcement of the results, I thought that maybe I can share a few tips on doing some better photography, and you also you people will be knowing on how photography actually evolved from a particular point, and now what is its stand. Fine. So I have titled my talk as Better Photography. And I don't know how many of you people have heard about this particular term, Better Photography. This is actually the name of a magazine. So it is a monthly magazine, and they actually give different tips, and they will be reviewing the cameras, the lenses, all those things that are in the market. And I don't know how many of you have probably read that magazine, and that will be giving you a good idea on how to capture photos better and so on. So I have titled this as Better Photography, and here you can see that inside this O, it represents the aperture, and it is something that is very much the key aspect for any photography, right? Okay, so we'll just proceed further. Okay, so what is photography? So what is photography? From my definition, I will always call photography as painting with light, because without light, we don't have what is called as photo. So light is something that will be element that will be filling the entire space. So once there was a father who asked two of his sons to fill. Yes. Participants, I'll just put you on mute. If you have any doubts, you can just post your questions in the chat box. It'll be answered later, right? Okay. So there was a father who actually had two sons, and he asked two of his sons to fill a room fully with something. So actually, one person had brought all jewels, all costly things, and he had filled the room. And another person had actually just took a lamp to fill the room. So this lamp's light was actually enough to fill the entire room, and that actually is something that is related to photography. So it is painting with light. So for that only, I have used this pictorically, saying that a person is doing some light painting stuff, right? So here you can see that this is an image, and here you have different levels and different gradations that are available. So this is actually, this we call it as the reflection field, and here you have the sky, and here you have the wonderful landscape, what you see over here. And you can see that there are different gradations of light which can be clearly seen. So here you have some highly lit areas, and here you have some lowly lit areas, and here you have some reflections. So all these things actually contribute towards a very good photograph. So that is what is called as painting with light. So whichever photo you capture, you just have that in your mind. So as you are painting with light, so it should be a blend of different things, so that the person who is seeing the photo will be really getting a good idea on what you are trying to tell, right? And another one is freezing time. So this is another unique aspect that is only available to photography. So if a person is trying to capture me, my age at any particular point of time, one person sees the photo will be the same. So it is this particular point of time that has been frozen, right? So these are the two aspects that are very much for the photography. So photography term is actually evolving around these two things, right? So let us quickly go through the history of photography. So the first camera what was introduced was a pinhole camera. So that is called as the camera Obscura. So here you just have a small hole in this cardboard box, and here you have a reflecting a mirror. So once the image is falling on this mirror, you can see the image over here. So this was the first camera what was introduced, and this camera didn't have anything that was called as the lens. So after the introduction of this camera only, they thought, why can't we just store this image? So here you can just see the image and you don't have any options to store. So then came the camera which had what is called as the film. So this is the version what I'm showing you is a much later version. So initially the film was actually a plate kind of stuff which was very big, and that was introduced at the back of the lens so that the image was captured. And actually the person who's Joseph Nietzsche, he was the first person who introduced the concept of lens to the camera. So you can have, or you have the liberty to control the image what is falling on this film which is capturing the image, right? So this is actually the history of photography, and this we call it as the film, and this will be having what is called as the silver halide particles. So I don't know how many of you have seen this concept of film. In our childhood and all, we used to have only these kind of film cameras. So when we load a film into the camera, we can capture a maximum of 36 frames. So this was the exposure what we had in our childhood. So here we had what is called as the silver halide particles. So these silver halide particles will get blackened when it is exposed to light. So based on that, based on the different levels of light, what is falling through the lens into the camera, I will be getting an image that is framed on this film, which when developed later, I will be in a position to develop it into an image so that I can use it for later purposes. So this was the initial evaluation of photography. So now what has actually happened is we have replaced this imaging plane, which is called as the film, into a digital sensor. So what you see on the screen is a digital sensor, and nowadays the commonly used sensor is actually called as the Cmos sensor. So in the Cmos sensor, what we'll be having is we'll be having what is called as photodiodes, which will be giving some response to the light which is falling into the photodiode. So based on that, equivalent electrical voltage will be given at the output, and that will be recorded as a digital image. So this is the current trend of photography, what is actually happening. And also the size of this the sensor, imaging sensor, it plays a very vital role. And here you can see the different sizes of sensors that are available. So this is actually the commonly used one. So the professional grade of cameras will be using this particular sensor, which is called as a full frame sensor, and it is having a 36 cross 24 image. So this will be the size of the image what is framed in a full frame sensor, and these are the other different types of sensors. So I think many of us will be using the cell phone for image capture. So cell phone for image capture will be having a sensor which is something like this size. So maybe 1 by 2.3, 1 by 2.3 of an inch, and so on. So it will be having a very small imaging area. So that's why we don't get very great images, or we actually can get some good images based on this particular sensor itself. But since the size of the imaging sensor is very small, the image which is given from this particular camera will be different from what we get from a cell phone which is having a very small sensor, right? So so I thought of just giving you some glimpses and ideas on what are the things that were there and what are the things that are now. So now we'll just quickly move into the essentials of a camera. So essentials of camera, definitely I should have what is called as the lens. So lens is something that will be transforming the image what you see into the imaging medium. And then you have what is called as the shutter. So this shutter will be opening for a particular point of time, and it will be allowing the light to get into the imaging sensor. And finally, you'll be having what is called as the imaging device or the imaging plane, right? So essentials of photography. So if I want to become a good photographer, what are the things that I'm supposed to know? So first, I need to know what is called as the shutter speed. Then what is called as the aperture, then what is called as the ISO or sensitivity of the imaging sensor. Then finally, I should be knowing how to frame a particular scene with the camera, and then lighting of the scene. So how well I can manage the lights that are there in the scene so that I get a good image. And finally, the timing. What timing I am supposed to capture the image. So these are the essentials that are needed for any photographer to know to do this art with perfection, right? So I think some of you may be exposed to these things. So what is called as the exposure is actually a triangle. So this is a combination of all these three things. So first we have what is called as the shutter. So shutter speed, actually shutter is a device what is there behind the lens. So this will be opened for a particular amount of time. So it will be like 1/8 of a second, or 1/15th of a second, or 1/30th of a second. So this will be the duration for which the shutter will be opened. So in that particular duration, the amount of light what is allowed by the lens will be falling on the imaging, right? So this gives a clear representation on how the shutter speed plays a very major role in framing the image in the camera. So here you can see if the shutter is open for half a second, if a person is moving, you can see some jagged edges, because what will happen is since the shutter is open for a quite a long duration of time, all these the scene what is happening in front of the camera will be recorded for a longer duration. So here I can see some jagged images. So as I keep increasing the shutter speed, I can see that the image framed by the camera will be kind of very much stable, or it will be kind of sharp, right? So whenever I'm going in for fast moving photographs, I should be using a shutter speed that is greater than at least 1/250th of a second, right? But this also has a contrary effect of it will be allowing only less light to fall on the imaging plane. So which means that if I'm going for a shutter speed of 1/250th at a low light condition, say night condition, I won't be getting a clear image, because the light what is available in the scene also will be giving me a problem. So this will be actually having a trade-off. So I should be framing the shutter speed carefully so that I get a good image. So next, what I will be concentrating is the aperture. So aperture is actually a blade that is available in the lens that will be allowing, or it will be controlling the amount of light that will be falling into the imaging sensor. So if I probably open the iris more, I'll be having more amount of light to go into the camera. And if I am kind of closing the iris to a smaller value, it will be allowing only less amount of light to fall into the camera, right? So this is the second thing what I'm supposed to know, which is called as the aperture. And added to this, we have another term which we call it as the depth of field. So that is called as DOF. So in depth of field is that how much area will be focused. So if I'm going in for so 1.4 aperture will be called as a shallower aperture, or the amount of iris that will be open will be very much, right? And the same thing if I go in for f22. So f22 will be a greater aperture, so the amount of iris that will be open will be little. So based on this, the depth of field or the range that will be in focus by the camera will be varying. So if I go in for a shallow depth of field, then only small portions of the image will be in focus, whereas I'll be getting major portions of the image to be out of focus, or that we'll be calling it as the bokeh effect, right? So this is something that is related to the aperture. So next is the ISO, or the sensitivity of the imaging medium. So sensitivity of the imaging medium is how quick it is supposed to respond to the light what is falling. So all these three things go together in order to give a very good image, right? So a photographer needs to have a good balance of all these three things to get a very good image. So if I'm kind of going in for a night effect photography, then obviously my light sensitivity will be increased. So I can't get a good image at say 100 sensitivity. So I should be going in for 1600. And the same thing if I'm probably trying to do a daylight photography. So in that case, I can go in for a sensitivity of 6400. That will be affecting my image, right? So as I kind of increase the sensitivity, based on that, the noise will also get added more to the image. So if a person balances these three things well, definitely the image what is framed in the camera will also be looking good. Next important thing is framing. So framing is for photography always deals with the object which is actually the area of interest. So whichever photo you are capturing, you'll be having object that will be the area of interest for the viewer who is seeing the photo. So I should be framing my photo or the image only around that particular object. So I should not be including more objects into the frame so that it is deviating the viewer. So the viewer's eye should be exactly pointed towards the object which is under focus or which is the center of attraction of the image. So framing, it plays a very major role in the photography. Then we have what is called as the lighting of the scene. So this is actually the conventional model what is followed for lighting any object. So how the light has to be distributed is, first we have what is called as the key light. So this will be actually 45 degrees to the left of the camera or right of the camera. And this is the main light source what will be lighting the object. And in order to fill for the other fill in the other direction, I'll be having a fill light which will be actually 50% less in intensity compared to the key light. And added to this, I'll be having what is called as the backlight. So this backlight, what it will be doing is it will be kind of separating or separating the object from the background. So if I want to separate the object from the background, I'll be using what is called as the backlight. So this is the conventional mode of lighting what is followed for any scene. So any scene, this will be the conventional lighting, but we have the liberty to actually change this particular pattern based on the scene which we are capturing. So this is purely in the hands of the photographer in order to change for the or adapt to the conditions or probably articulate the different things that are available in that particular scene so that you are in a position to literally paint the photo with light, right? So next important thing what a photographer should know is the timing. So what moment I'm supposed to capture the image. So here you can see the image. So this is exactly timed image. So only at this particular point of time, this image has to be clicked. So if I probably time it a little earlier, then this bird will not be touching this water. Or if I probably time it a little later, its beak will be probably going a little more in. So this is the exact timing what we are supposed to follow. So whenever you are in a position to capture any image, you time it so that you capture the peak of the moment. So for example, if a person is moving in the swing, so in the swing, the best portion will be the person should be in front facing the camera. So if the person is back, that image will not be looking that great. So if the person is probably very much in front, that image will be looking really good, right? So timing plays a very major role in photography. So quickly we'll move over to the tips for better photography. So first point that I'll be sharing is look into the frame twice before clicking to ignore any unwanted objects in the frame. So this is a common advice what I get from my dad, who is into the photography for more than 40 years. And whenever I probably capture any frame or any photo and show it to him, definitely I'll be getting chiding that I had not properly looked into the frame before doing the capture. So here, this image looks really good, but for these things. So here I can see that there is a marking what is available here. And here I can see some unwanted object that is probably present in the frame. So if these two objects were probably removed and then the photo was captured, it will be a really good one, right? So before you are capturing, you just try to see if there be any unwanted objects in the frame. So if there are any unwanted objects, try to remove that. If you don't have the option to remove that during the capture of the image, you have what is called as the photo editing. There you can go and do the editing, right? So this is the first tip what I'll be sharing. Then we have what is called as the horizon line. So horizon line is something that will be separating the sky surface from the earth surface. So this horizon line should not be exactly placed in the middle. So here when you see, this is actually the horizon line, and this is the image or the allowance what I have given towards the sky, and this is the image or the allowance what I have given towards the water or the earth portion. So here you can see that the horizon line is not exactly at the middle, right? So it has to be either lower or it has to be higher. And also this horizon line should not be tilted. So if you are capturing the image, if this horizon line is not straight, then definitely it will not be going to give a pleasing effect to the person. So the person who is viewing the photo will not be getting a pleasing effect, right? And also this photo has another thing what I'll be sharing. And also these photos, so you would have seen photos till now. So all those photos were given with the credits to the person who had taken, and the photos that are not given with any credits are the photos that are captured by me. So these photos are actually captured by me. And this photo also has additional thing of here you can see the reflection. And that is also another tip that I'll be sharing later. I'll just tell it now. So this reflection should not be cut at any particular point of time. So here you can see the tree that is here and the reflection that is falling at the water. And this reflection should not be cut at any particular point of time. So if that is cut also, it will not be giving a pleasurable experience to the viewer who is seeing the image, right? So this is the second tip what I want to tell. And next one, when you are doing the framing, so if you are doing the framing, you should give some allowance in the direction which the subject is looking or moving. So here you can see that this bird is actually looking in this direction, and here I have given more allowance compared to the allowance what I have given over here. So this is how I'm supposed to do the framing so that it looks really good. So this is actually looking in this direction. So if I do the framing in this manner, it will be like it is making the viewer to make his eyes focus towards the direction in which this bird is also looking. So that is the way in which a frame has to be done. So for example, there is a car that is moving in this direction, then obviously what I'm supposed to do is I should give more allowance in this direction rather than this direction, right? So this is the next step what I wanted to tell. Then you can follow what is called as the 1/3 rule. So whenever you are making use of the crop tool, you'll be seeing what is this particular pattern. So here you'll be having this is actually the width and this is the height, and width and height will be actually divided by 3. So that is called as the 1/3 rule. And what I'll be doing is I can make my object to fit into any one portion of this particular block, or 2 portions of this particular block, or 4 portions of this particular block, or maybe the 7 portions of this particular block. So that is how I'll be including the frame. So here I have actually made this bird to be at the center. So here this is actually at these particular blocks. So based on this, I will be doing the frames. So I can also frame it like this. I can include these portions and do the frame. So whenever you are using the crop tool, you can see this happening. Then always you try to be very much creative. So this is actually a photo that I had taken from the net. So here you can see that this person is just holding empty cone, and this is the clouds. So it does give the look of ice cream, right? So creativity plays a very major role in photography. So more creative you are, the more better images you'll be getting. So here the next step is process the image well to bring out the latent details in the image. So this is actually the photo that I captured in our college campus. So this is our administrative building. So this is the image what I actually captured. So here I'll be just giving you some some drawbacks which were actually there, which I had corrected during the post. So this is the image what I captured, and this will be actually having the latent image, latent details which I had brought out during the post processing. So this is the image what I captured. So the next frame what you are going to see is the details what are actually brought out during the post. So this is the image. So just keep looking at this image. So here you have the processed image. Actually, I had not done any computer graphics or anything like that, but actually the image what I had captured had these details. What I had to do was bring out the details. So in this particular framing also, framing plays a very major role. So whenever you are doing building photography, what we are supposed to do is the vertical lines and horizontal lines should never get misaligned. So they have to be straight. So here you see that these are the vertical lines and these are the horizontal lines. So these lines should always be straight. Only if they are straight, it will be giving a pleasurable experience to the person. And also here, this is actually the lab block of our college. And here you can see that only a portion of the lab block was visible, but making use of this reflection, what is available over here, I'm trying to give the entire view of the lab block so that this this symmetrical image completes the reflection at this particular symmetry. So these are the different techniques what we can actually follow so that it gives a real pleasurable experience to the person who is seeing the image. So here also you can see that these are the horizontal lines. So all the horizontal lines are exactly held to be straight, and so are the vertical lines. So vertical lines also, if you see, definitely it will be held straight, right? So these are the things what we are definitely supposed to keep it in mind so that we get a very good image from the camera, right? So next important tip is, while capturing birds or animals, the catch light should definitely be there in the eye, right? So catch light is, you can see in this particular image in the tiger's photo, a small light is available in its eye. So that is called as the catch light. So any wildlife photography or birds photography, if it doesn't have the catch light, the bird or the animal will be like it is not having its life. So the catch light plays a very major role to get the life out of the animal which we are capturing, right? So towards the left you see this white tiger image. So this actually gives you a very comfortable environment like it is in the forest, whereas the right image you can immediately make out that it is captured in some zoo because of this grill what is unwantedly included in this particular image. So if you are trying to capture any wildlife image, let it be in a zoo. Even though if you are trying to capture it in a zoo, make it a point that you don't include these things. So these are actually man-made structures. Those should not be included while you are doing the wildlife photography. So that will be giving a better experience to the person who is seeing your images, right? So next, never cut any portion of the body during the framing. So if you are doing the framing, so here you can see this baboon which is here. So here actually this image is fine, but here what has happened, I have cut the tail of the baboon. So this will be actually giving a very it will not give a full experience to the person who is trying to see the image, right? So this is another problem what people usually do, and that can be changed to get a very good image. And then this I already told, so reflection should never be cut. So if you cut the reflection, it will be giving another unwanted or it will be not giving a full pleasurable experience to the user. So here we have different types of photography. So in general photography, we have the different types: sports photography, we have our wildlife photography, we have our photojournalism. Everything will be falling into the general photography. This is something which we usually do. So the selfies what we take, everything will be falling into this general photography. So added to that, we have what is called as the astrophotography. So astrophotography is something what we do for capturing the stars at night. So here we have some telescopes that are that actually move in accordance with the Earth's movement, and you have the camera that is placed on that, and you capture the stars at night. You actually open the shutter for much longer time to get a very good image of the stars at night. So that is called as the astrophotography. And another very important role that photography plays is the medical imaging. So medical imaging, without photography, you don't have anything called as the medical imaging. Let it be your X-rays, let it be your computer tomography images, let it be your MRI images, everything will be involving only photography. Then we have the architectural photography. So architectural is capturing of the buildings. Then we have the microscopic photography. So microscopic will be capturing very small insects and things like that. And added to this, we also have macro photography. So macro photography also will be dealing with small images. I mean, small things or small living organisms photography. So these are the different types of photography that are available. And how this electronics and communication engineering that is fully involved in photography, actually nowadays the photography is actually having its roots fully dependent on this particular stream, which is electronics and communication engineering. So you have the camera, or let it be your mobile phone, you will be controlling all the blocks. So you have different blocks. So for example, you are pressing the shutter button, that is a block. You have the shutter, that is a block. You have the iris, that is a block. You have the autofocusing mechanism, the motors that are getting run, that is a block. You have the place where you insert the memory card, that is a block. So all these blocks are actually controlled together, and this we call it as the embedded design. So this is actually the core of electronics and communication engineering. And added to that, we also have what is called as the imaging sensor. So nowadays, I told that the images are totally digital, and you have the imaging sensors that are directly capturing the images and they are giving the outputs, right? So this is another core area of electronics and communication engineering. And also you have the storage. So you have the image to be stored in the memory card, and not only the image, you also have videos that are getting stored in memory card. So for that, we'll be having, or we'll be using compression algorithms. So your images has to be transferred quickly into the memory cards. So for that, what algorithms we are following? So that also falls into the electronics and communication engineering. Then we have the processing. So this we call it as the digital image processing. So this is also another key of our electronics and communication engineering. So photography obviously has its entire roots that are focused in the electronics and communication engineering. So these are the insights what I thought that I'll be sharing with you before we are announcing the results, right? So I think everyone should have got the tips what I shared. So you'll be in a position to do photography in a more creative manner, and taking in all the tips what I have shared, so that your photos really bring the lives that are there in front of you to the images what you are capturing. Right. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I think soon we'll be doing the announcement of the results. Yeah, over to the end.
I request our judge, Mr. Immanuel, to announce the result with some of the tips for the winners. Okay. So please, Mr. Immanuel, you are the opt person to announce the result and to give some of the tips to the participants. Please.
Definitely. Okay, students, so now to the winners. So fine. So really was happy to see all your images, and actually in the judging process, my dad also helped me. And since he has experience more than me, he also helped me to do the judging. Fine. So we'll just move in for the results. So usually we'll be starting with the third. We'll directly start with the first. So any guesses? Fine. Okay, directly we'll be doing the announcement of the results. So the first position goes to this person, who's S.U. Kishore Raj. S.U. Kishore Raj, are you here? Kishore Raj, are you here?
He is here, I think. Kishore
Kishore
Raj.
Raj, you can unmute.
Yes,
Kishore Raj?
ma'am, I'm here.
Yes, ma. So yeah, your image was actually the best one which we received in the set. So where did you actually capture this image, ma?
Aringer Anna, Vandalu Zoo, sir.
Vandalur Zoo, very good. So actually, this was the point what I was trying to tell. So even it be the zoo which you are capturing, the unwanted things should not be included in the image. So this is actually a very good image. This clearly gives the how the lion is actually feeling, the attitude, how this lion is lying. And another advantageous thing is this catch light. So here the catch light is effectively done. But my suggestion is that I think you have done processing. In the processing side, actually you have over processed the images so that the shadows are actually going very low in this particular image. So if you can have the shadows of the image to be a little more higher, definitely it will be giving a much more pleasurable experience to the viewer. What you have done is a good job. So you are being first in this particular photo contest.
I'm honored, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So next is this person, Shakti Dharan. Shakti Dharan, are you here? Shakti Dharan. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Shakti Dharan. So this is another good capture. So yes, where did you capture this image?
In my village.
Village. Very good. So this actually, the way you have framed it, actually, usually people what will be doing is will be capturing the entire, I mean, the full, the full animal they will be capturing, and that will not be giving a full experience to the person. So here, what you have done is, sorry. So here you have used the sky. So sky's blue gives a very contrasting effect to the image. And here the habitat, the natural habitat where the cow will be. So that you have used, that actually gives the best to this particular image. You have used a little of the greens. So that also gives the pleasurable experience to the person. And also the actually the way in which the cow is seeing, so its attitude is also clearly seen. And also this is the natural habitat, and the use of this particular rope to which the cow is tied. So this is something what we are forcing on the animal. So that has also been very well played in this particular image. So because of that, you are deserving the second prize.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So third is Vishwa Jain. So Vishwa Jain, are you here? Vishwa Jain. Okay, fine. So this image is also a very good image. So here we have actually two snails that are here, and this reflection is actually well framed in this image. And the only negative thing what I'll be telling is if this reflection was fully included, that will be giving a very good experience to the viewer. But this is also a very good capture. So added to this, we are also giving 10 consolation prizes. So we'll just quickly go through those consolation prizes. Okay, so these two people, HK Hemnath. HK Hemnath, are you here? HK Hemnath. Okay, no problem. I'll just do the mention. So this is a good angle which we usually don't see. So this angle is very good. So because of the angle, I had actually chosen this image for the consolation prize. And this image of this temple is also very good. So this person is Varun Dhawan. So Varun Dhawan from Jai Gopal Garodia. So he also comes under the consolation prizes. The way in which the image was captured is really good. So he's getting the consolation prize. So next we have M. Vignesh. So this photo given by M. Vignesh also deserves the consolation prize. So the sun and actually this is the light that is getting set and against these particular plants that are here. So this also deserves the consolation prize. And this image that is captured by Monish Rahwan. So this actually it gives a landscape that is well captured. Devin Devesh from St. Paul's Matriculation. This is actually a macro type of photography, and this is also well captured. And this could be better if the petals are fully included and a little more allowance is given towards the right. That will be really good. And this capture by Sendil Nathan. So this is also good. So this the light streaks. Actually, this could have been framed a little better, but there is a person who has
Participants.
okay.
Okay.
Fine. Okay, so this is another good capture. So here you have the light streaks that are very well played in the image, and this is another image that I actually. So the theme was given as nature and landscape. So participants, sorry, I'll put you all on mute. Fine. So this, I was actually quite surprised to see the moon. So this also comes under the nature. So since this person had a good creativity to capture the moon and give it for the nature, this image is deserving a consolation prize. So Sendil Nathan and Mohan Krishnan, they deserve consolation prizes. And then this image that is done by Farooq Umarul. So this is also a good image, and this would have been better if this squirrel had actually faced this side. So it is actually facing that side, and if it had faced towards this side, it would have been a better image. And here we have another image by Sachin Sanjay from MCC. So this image is also really good, and this actually shows the attitude of the cat. So because of that, this image was selected for the constellation. And this a capture from the garden. So this is also included for the consolation prize. So these are the prize winners. So actually, it is not like some images were really good and some images were bad. It is not like that. Every image was actually really, really good. And these are some things that we had considered. That's it. So let it be the start for your photography journey. So photography will always be with you. It is based on the creativity. So every image, each and every image what you had given was actually appreciated by me and also by my dad. So all the images what we received were really, really good. So let this be your starting point of your photography and let you reach many more miles in this particular field and bring more creative stuff. So that is our wish from our side. Thank you, students.
So thank you, Mr. Immanuel, for judging the participants, their photography, and giving them the tips to improvise themselves. I hope that this tips will be useful for them to improvise their photography skills. I hope so. And I think few students, few participants, they want to talk to you. And if it is possible, if it is possible, you can give them some.
Definitely.
And I think a few are having maybe having some doubt in the photography or may want to have some tips further to improvise your photography skill. So please, participants, you can interact with our judge, who is more talented person, and he had done many things in the photography. So you can make use of this opportunity to improvise your skill. Participants, you can unmute yourself and you can clarify or get the tips from the from our judge. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, so I am Ashwin speaking.
Yes, Ashwin, tell me.
So I think that moon is taken from Google or somewhere, or how
Yeah.
to take that moon? How?
Yeah, actually, I had that doubt, but from Google, the image will be really crystal clear. And the person who had a shot actually had a little out of focus. And because of that only, I had given that price.
Oh,
So
yeah.
images from Google will be really crystal clear. And I had verified before announcing the consolation price. And since it was little blurred, I knew that it was a real capture. So I had given that price.
Yeah. So and how to capture like that an astrogelic
Yeah,
how to...
astrophotography actually it will be requiring a little sophisticated hardware. With the camera, actually you can't get a really good astrophotography with just the camera what you have. So you should be having this telescope kind of stuff what is there, and that will be actually electronically controlled telescope. So it will be sensing your GPS location. So exact GPS location will be sensed by the telescope, and it will be actually moving in accordance with the way in which the Earth is moving. So only then you will be getting a really stationary image. If your telescope is not moving in accordance with the Earth's movement, then obviously what will happen is you will be opening the shutter for quite a longer duration. So on that note, you will be expecting some blurriness in the image. So something like motion blur will happen to the image. So this is actually the exact astrophotography. But we can try using our camera. You can have your camera mounted on a tripod or a stand, and you can do the photo. But you will be definitely getting some good images. What you can actually try is you can try to increase the sensitivity of your camera to maybe something more than 1600, and your f value, that is aperture, should be more than 8 or 11, and your shutter should be open for say around 10 seconds or something like that. So for that mode we will be calling it as the bulb mode. So you will be holding the shutter manually, but there should not be any shake in the image. So in that particular case, you will be getting a good photo. If you are trying to capture the moon, these settings are not needed. You can just go in for the simple settings to get the image, but you'll be requiring a zoom lens that is having a range of say more than 300 mm. So only then you will be getting a quite good image of the moon.
Yeah, sir. So can you see my photo and tell me what's the mistake is been done?
Yeah, definitely. You can share it. I think you will be having my number in the group. You can find that, and you can share it with me personally. I'll just give your comments. I'll give my comments for your photo.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Participants, is any more having any doubts, or you want some tips? You can ask me. Yeah, so if we are done, I think we can close the meet.
Aparna?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for unveiling the secrets behind photography. And I'm sure your tips benefited all of us so that we observe twice before a click. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. K. Immanuel, sir. Thank you, sir. Our HOD, ma'am, Dr. C. Nyan Kausalya, ma'am, and Dr. G. Rohini, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Our faculty members, our volunteers, and all the participants for your active participation. And congratulations to all the winners of the contest and the participants who took great deal of time and effort to portray their talent for the best capture. Thank you all.
Congratulations all the winners and also to all the participants. It's a great effort taken by each and every individual. And thank you, Mr. Immanuel, and also to Appa, who has given a proper thing, judging this event and giving the tips to the participants. Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very much,
Immanuel,
madam.
and
Thank you,
also convey our regards to Appa.
Thank you, madam.
That he helped you in judging the thing. So thank you.